Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we are from Group 4 will present our extensive reading project. But first, before we start the presentation, I'm going to introduce all of my teammates and their roles. First, my name is Rendra Adian Maulana and my role on this group project is to be the project coordinator. Next,
My name is Amirul Firdausi Dasaputra. In the team, I act as a script writer.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Rifki Mulyana and my role in this team is quiz creator.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Ahmad Rafaidani. In this group, my role is as research lead.
My name is Wahyu Pratama and my role is editing video.
alright. And then we're going to continue on our presentation. Okay, for our extensive reading session project, the main topic for this extensive reading is about history. And the first book that I'm going to choose was Golden Kamuy by Noda Satoru. The main thing for this book is that it was historical fiction genre, but I still think this is relevant. This book is about a Russo-Japanese war veteran that learns about the tale of a stolen gold and a group of tattoo prisoners that each hold a piece of the map on that skin. The great thing about this book is that how the story also focused more on its culture from an indigenous group that will later be introduced in the book. And that indigenous group was called the Ainu people. And I think the comedy was actually a lot more better and crafted good enough for like reading. And the second book that I'm choosing is Otoyomegatari, or A Bride Story by Mori Kaoru. This book is set in the late 19th century, where you follow a woman from a nomadic tribe named Amir Palgar, who marries a younger boy named Kaduk Ehon. The story itself is more focused about their daily lives and how it put the spotlight on the Central Asian culture. That makes it a lot more better to read. The Central Asian culture itself is not widely known by many people. And the last book that I'm choosing was War Against Smallpox by Michael Bennett. It was set in the real-life setting from a known disease, which is smallpox. This book mainly covers how inoculation spreads from the East to Europe and how Edward Jenner developed the smallpox vaccine. It made me realize just how important vaccination to humanity. And this book itself also shows that still many people doubt and feel hesitant on the vaccine itself, whether it have a side effect to the vaccine itself. Nobody ever knows. And that's it for my extensive reading session. And my opinion to this book is actually pretty good. And now we're continuing to my teammates.
Thank you. And now it's my turn to present my extensive reading session. The first book is Il Principe by Niccolo Machiavelli. Niccolo Machiavelli has an author of Il Principe that discusses the nature of power, leadership, and how a ruler can maintain authority. The book explains that a leader needs intelligence, strategy, and the ability to make difficult decisions in order to protect the states. Machiavelli presents a realistic view of politics where success sometimes requires flexibility and careful judgment. The moral value of this book is that leadership requires responsibility, wisdom, and the ability to use power fairly. A good leader should not only weak and seek on power and control, but also consider the consequences of their actions for society. The second book is Traditional Theater in Southeast Asia by Chua So Pong. This book explores various traditional performances that represent the culture, history, and identity of Southeast Asia societies. The book shows that theater is not only entertainment, but also a way to preserve traditions, share moral messages, and connect generations. Through music, dance, and storytelling, traditional theater reflects the values and experience of community. The moral value of this book is the importance of respecting and preserving culture heritage. It teaches us that culture is a valuable identity that should be maintained and appreciated. Now, and the end, the third book is Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. Pachinko by Min Jin Lee tells the story of a Korean family struggling with discrimination, poverty, and identity issues as immigrants in Japan. The novel portrays the challenge faced by several generations while showing their strength and determination to survive. It highlights the importance of family, hope, and perseverance in facing difficult situations. The moral value of this book is that people should remain strong and never give up despite hardships. It also teaches us to understand and respect the struggles and experience of others. That's all for my extensive reading session. And now, continuing to my teammate.
Okay, I will share what I have read. The first is Alexander the Great by Jacob Abbott. This one was actually kind of fun to read. It's in an old-fashioned dramatic storytelling way. You are got Alexander crossing the Hellespont, defeating Darius, conquering basically everywhere he looked. And for a while, I think this guy is unstoppable. He became the king when he was 20 years old, and he never lost the war. Unbelievable. But then comes the part that really stuck with me. The chapter literally called Deterioration of Character. Alexander starts torturing and executing his own loyal officer over suspicion. He kills his friend Cletus in the drunken rage, a man who cared on save his life in battle, and then is overwhelmed with guilt right after. And by the end, he's drinking himself into illness, surrounded by luxury he owns despised, dying without even naming a successor. The book ends almost bluntly, calling him a robber, but a robber on a vast scale. It's such a human story. Underneath all the glory, the same ambition that built an empire also slowly consumed the person who built it. Power didn't just change what he did, it changed who he was. Okay, the book I read is Origins of World War I by Ruth Hennings. This one was kind of funny in a dark way, because you read it and you think nobody actually won this war. Not really. If everyone was just terrified of looking weak. Germany was scared of being encircled. Russia was scared of looking weak again after losing to Japan. Austria-Hungary was scared Serbia would break the empire apart. France never let go of Alsace and Lorraine. And Britain just didn't want Germany's navy getting too big. It's almost like watching a group chat where everyone's overreacting to a rumor, except the overreacting is the Schlieffen plan and millions of soldiers. But what really got me was this idea of alliance as a trap. Bismarck built this whole careful system to keep the peace and in work while he was in charge. But the moment his successor lost his touch, the same alliance turned into a chain reaction. One assassination in Sarajevo, and within 6 weeks, 5 great powers were at war. That hit me. We built system to protect us, alliance, treaties, plans, but the same system can drag us somewhere we never intended to go if we're not careful, or if we're just a little less wise than the person who built them. So the last one is Colonel Ivar Hellesberg article on the Indonesian Armed Force, written right after Suharto fell in 1998, and honestly, reading this one was a bit heavy. There's mass unrest, human rights violation in East Timor, Aceh, Papua, real consequence for real people. But there's what stuck with me. The military in Indonesia saw itself as the guardian of the constitution, not just defending the country, but defending the government itself. And that single idea explains so much. It explains why they were everywhere. In politics, in business, in putting down rights, and also why people stop trusting them, like now. Right, and there's this one line that genuinely make me sit back. The author warns that human rights groups pushing too hard may force the armed force to react in the only way they know how. Like, that's chilling kind of warning, but it also honest about how power actually behaves under pressure. The lesson I took from this: power that isn't held accountable doesn't just stay still. It either reforms or it reacts violently. When challenged, there's no neutral opinion.
Article I read is Majapahit, Reflection of the Religious Life by Denny Yudo Wahyudi and Agus Aris Munandar. The article is explored how Hinduism and Buddhism values integrated in the Majapahit Empire governance, social structure, and the architecture. The author concludes that Majapahit Empire as a cosmic temple layout, when the social political stability depended on the harmony religious. The next article I read is Majapahit, Reflection of the Religious Life by Denny Yudo Wahyudi and Agus Aris Munandar. The article is explored about how Hinduism and Buddhism values integrated in the Majapahit Empire governance, social structure, geopolitical, and the architecture. The author concludes that the Majapahit Empire as a cosmic temple layout, when the social political stability is dependent on the religious harmony. And the last article I read is Ancient Javanese Women during Majapahit period by Athena Wiyata and Agus Aris Munandar. The article is analysis of narrative temple reliefs and terracotta portrait of the ancient Javanese woman during Majapahit era. It concludes this visual record and of the first historical appearance of the Kemben and expressive heritage.
My reading material consists of 2 articles and 1 comic. The first article discusses the history of the name of city of Surabaya. The author is Eye on the Middle, a media outlet that covers historical topics. The article tells the legend of Suro the Shark and Boyo the Crocodile. After many exhausting battles, they agree to divide their territories. Suro taking the sea and Boyo take the land. But Suro broke the promise and sparked conflict again. From the story, I learned that keeping promise and respecting agreement is very important. We should respect others and solve the problem peacefully. The second reading material is a comic explore the history of the cholera. The author from Saint-Saëns in a webtoon. The story follows someone who enters a space-time portal to London during a cholera outbreak. The journey leads from research and ultimately transforming the world of medicine. The comic teaches us to always remain curious and never stop learning, because that thing helps us grow and improve ourselves. The third article discussing the Heroes Monument, a famous monument dedicated to honoring the heroes of Surabaya. The author is Scott Star. Tugu Pahlawan, or Heroes Monument in Surabaya, is one of the most iconic landmarks. It was built to honor the brave fighter who defined the city during the Battle of Surabaya. After reading, I learned that the Tugu Pahlawan is not just a monument, it's a symbol of the bravery of the people Surabaya who fought for Indonesia independence. The story teaches us to respect our heroes and love our country.
That's all from our presentation. If there's an error for our network, I hope you could forgive us for that. Thank you.
Okay guys, now is the quiz time based on presentation. Here is the question. pause the video here and think about your answer before I reveal in 3, 2, 1. Okay guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and learn something new today. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you next time.